resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Broadcasting from the Gregory Ricks and Associates Wealth Management Studios, here's D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth! This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared. Let me lay out the show for you because I am so stoked and excited about tonight's show. We're going to kick it all off with our boy Skungy, and his pick of the week is apparently Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't know they had a game, but apparently they do. But then we got two guests. We have the prolific, the king of the sequels, but he is like a jujitsu ninja kung fu master, Scott Adkins. If that name doesn't sound familiar, his face and his movies will. He's been in Ip Man. He's played opposite Donnie Yen. He's done a lot of Chinese cinema where they do, like he's worked with Jackie Chan, just name them all, and he's done it. He's going to be opposite Keanu Reeves in the new John Wick 4 movie coming up. He was in Ip Man 4 fighting Donnie Yen. He's awesome. He's got a new movie coming out now called One Shot. So we're going to talk with Scott. And then we have Ben Barnes. Ben Barnes, you remember him as Billy Russo from The Punisher, General Kerrigan from Shadow and Bone, Prince Caspian from back in the day. And look, apparently he's a singer. I did not realize that, but he dropped us an EP. His first title track, 1111, is friggin' amazing. And I found out he was in a boy band, so obviously I had to torture him about that. And apparently it is a part of his life he wanted to forget. So sorry about that. I had to do it, buddy. So Ben Barnes, he also goes by B Squared. So Ben Barnes is our guest. So that's all on tonight's show. But first, let's do this. And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. All right, topping us off tonight. Look, there's a bunch of trailers that dropped, a lot of information going out there. But I guess, look, Stranger Things just dropped yesterday. But the big one that really kind of, just took me by surprise, I was not expecting it, was the new trailer for the Book of Boba Fett.
I am not a bounty hunter. I've heard otherwise. I know that you sit on the throne of your former employer. Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
Respectful fear.
You were all once captains under Jabba the Hutt.
I'm here to make a proposal that's mutually beneficial. Why speak of conflict when cooperation can make us all rich?
Yeah.
What prevents us all from killing you?
Boba Fett?
Taking what we want.
If you had spoken such insolence to Jabba, he'd have fed you to his menagerie.
Rancor!
I didn't see Rancor, though.
Speak freely.
You sure you want to do that? Oh, God, this looks so awesome. Wait, listen for the end. That's a Slave One. Well, it's not called Slave One anymore because they changed the name, but whatever. I'm not even getting to that because I'm just too excited about this new trailer. It's coming out, the new series, Book of Boba Fett, December 29th. So we basically got 2 months, till we get the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus. Holy guacamole. All right, let's start with just some of the not even Easter eggs. I love that they're bringing all the legit races from Star Wars, like the slave races, like the Weequay, the Klatooinians, and but there's the Klaatu, Verata, Nikto, those were the names of the skiff guards on the action figures back in the day, whole Day the Earth Stood Still thing. So they named the races the Klaatuinians and the Weequay. And look, if you're a Star Wars nerd like I am, these are basically, they had to create the backstory based on what George Lucas just kind of like pulled out of the dark recesses of his brain. He's like, yeah, name that one Klaatu, Verata, and Nikto. And then we had to pick up the pieces afterwards. But one of the weird things we saw was one of the Hammerheads, the guy Hammerhead from the original Star Wars. Looks like the brown thing. It looks like he's got a hammerhead. It's called an Ithorian. I want to hear it speak because in all the books and all the canon, they speak in stereo. They have two mouths, one on each side of their head, and they speak in stereo. So, like, I don't know why I'm so nerding out about actually hearing an Ithorian speak. But, you've got Mando, talking about him, I've heard different. You're a bounty hunter, all this stuff. Oh my God, I'm just like, I'm just tweaking out because I'm so excited by this series. And it's all the Star Wars that we wanted. Just like The Mandalorian is the Star Wars movies we always wanted but never got. When you look at the prequels, I'm just as excited about this. I mean, look, I'm just so excited. I can't stop myself. I'm just ridiculously excited. So that's coming out December 29th. Now, Stranger Things is coming out summer of 22. Now take a listen to this.
Dear Mike, today is day 185. I think I have finally adapted.
In California.
All right. Hold on to your butts, bro, chachos.
I even like school now. I have made lots of friends.
No, she gets hit with a spitball and snugged by the cool chicks.
Even so, I am ready for spring break. Mostly because I get to see you.
Aw, so cute. Young love.
We will have the best spring break ever.
Wrong! So, in that quick little montage, you see like almost kind of like Men in Black sort of things going on. They're fighting, like going down some hallway with soldiers shooting. It just looks insanely awesome. And actually, while I was looking at this trailer, I forgot they had one a while ago with Steve and your boy, the Never-Ending Story kid. I'm blanking on his name, shut up. But they were investigating an old abandoned house that apparently had some issues with the upside down. So all of this stuff, I mean, Stranger Things. Look, I know it's been a long time, y'all. 2019 was the last time we got, the season 3. And with COVID and the lockdown, they're finally back at it. It looks like they're really just finally doing some post-production stuff. So look, we're looking at what, January, February, March, April, May. So 6 months. Oh my God. Now that I counted out, that sucks. That's so far away. You suck, Stranger Things. But I'm excited because this is just going to be, Stranger Things has never led us astray. All right, now. Oh, wait, I have the titles. Hold on. They released all the titles of the 9 episodes. There's 9 episodes. The Hellfire Club, Vecna's Curse, The Monster and the Superhero, Dear Billy, The Nina Project, The Dive, The Massacre at Hawkins Lab. That sounds fun. Papa, so I guess that's when David Harbour comes back, but he might come back. I'm thinking he's going to be like the Monster and the Superhero, but I could be wrong. And then finally, The Piggyback. Now, Vecna's Curse, when I first saw that, I'm like, why does that seem so familiar? Well, it's a D&D reference. Vecna from the world of Greyhawk was a magician who became a lich. He was a mage, and he transformed to a lich and then to godhood. Vecna, you've got the hand of Vecna, the eye of Vecna. They're, artifact magical items in D&D. I know this is deep cut for a lot of people out there, but I'm not sure what to make of the title, though, with Vecna's Curse. I don't know who would be a lich. Maybe it's Billy. What about Billy? Because he's dead. Huh. All right, I like where this is going. All right, I have no proof to back this up, but this is the time for wild speculation of what's going to be in the Stranger Things season 4 coming out in summer of 2022. It better be like May. Don't make me wait till June, guys. All right, now, the final thing we're going to do before we go over to our boy Skungy with his pick of the week, a trailer dropped for a new movie that is coming out November 19th, just 13 or 12 days from now, Black Friday, with the one, the only, incomparable Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead. That Maria Darkness.
Happy Black Friday. We love toys.
I'm Emmett. You ever work retail before? No.
There's no day more harmful to retail workers than this day.
What do we love?
Toys!
Good job.
Places, everyone.
3,
Thanks, Bruce.
2, go, baby.
Go Black Friday!
Thank you very much. Happy holidays.
Uh-oh, bad things are happening.
What the? There is something wrong with the shoppers.
They're like zombies, but not.
We got to do something.
We're 1 hour into Black Friday,
fast
and we're
zombies?
escorting customers away from the store.
But apparently they're smart, because listen.
Was that the new guy?
Yeah, he's toast.
Our shoppers are going crazy. Whatever you do, don't let them gather. They're building something.
Yeah, that's weird.
At this point, we're just in their way. We're gonna have to fight.
I don't think this night can get any worse.
Does anybody else just think that's funny?
Look, Bruce Campbell!
They never died.
We have to make a run for it.
Exactly.
Black Friday is over!
Chucky says we're all going to die.
Back up, homie.
The fire will sit and admire the stockings all filled up at last.
Yeah.
Decorations of all the glitter, silver and gold.
I love it here.
The police are here.
Thank God.
Smash, kill the poor lady with a police car. Sorry, lady.
The most magical time.
Of the year.
Got your doorbusters right here, motherfucker.
There you go. Black Friday coming out November 19th. And next week, baby, we have Hail to the King. Bruce Campbell's going to be our guest next week, baby. Bruce Campbell next week. I'm excited. Can you tell? All right, coming up next, Skungy, then Scott Adkins, and we're going to wrap it all up with Ben Barnes, going by B Squared these days. He's got a new EP. This is The Week in Geek on News Talk, 99.5 WRNO. Box tea again? Why don't you try the tea blends from the Viridian Tea Company? They sell blends that are guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With blends like Quantum Mechanics, Caligula's Herbal Nerve Tonic, and Manta Ray Dreaming, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop at 432 North Anthony Street or online at Etsy at the Viridian Tea Company. So put down the box and order some tea from the Viridian Tea Company today. Sincerely, your taste buds.
In From the Storm fanzine highlights Black female characters in comics and sci-fi. The fanzine is for and by Black women, featuring original artwork, interviews, and cultural criticism. As Black women fans, we have unique perspectives that are often silenced and discouraged in mainstream outlets. In From the Storm is a shelter from the storm, a place for Black women to gather, learn, and discuss our Black female nerddom. Find them at infromthestormzine.com or at In From the Storm on Facebook.
Hello, wonderful friends. It is I, Starfire of Tamaran, here to tell you you are listening to The Week in Geek on the radio. This is the radio, yes?
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared. And don't forget, coming up later in the show, we have Scott Adkins. His new movie, One Shot, is out now. And then you want to stick around. I got my boy B Squared, Ben Barnes. And, well, you got to just stick around and listen for that interview. That's coming up next. But first, let's do this.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
I love lamp. I love lamp.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
Skungy, what's shaking, bacon?
Not a whole lot, just, kind of recovering a little bit from Oktoberfest yesterday, but doing well.
Well, there you go. And did you survive the Call of Duty release? Was that all you had hoped it would be and more?
Not, you know what? Call of Duty's popularity has waned. Something severe.
I'm not shocked at that at all. I think we were talking about Battlefield or something else, but like they kept going to the well so many years ago with World War II, and then they finally started doing Modern Warfare, which was really cool, but they kept digging in that well too deep, and now they've gone back to that. So which one was that released?
Vanguard.
Yeah,
Call of Duty Vanguard. It's got a little bit to do with the Pacific Theater. But, I'm like, I haven't even had a chance to play it yet. I'll give a review in the next week or two.
But what are we talking about tonight, good sir?
We are talking about those pesky, those heroes, if you would, even though they are kind of criminals, the Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Guardians of the Wait, they have a game?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So first they get a roller coaster or a Tower of Terror coaster, and now they have a video game. All right, is it anything remotely resembling the turd burger that was the Avengers?
Okay, yeah, let's get that out of the way. First things first, they are actually getting a coaster in Epcot, but that's different. But yes, that was the first thing that I was very concerned about because of the just garbage that Marvel Avengers was last year. It's just, or earlier this year. I can't remember. It's been such a long year. But it was just, I was a little concerned.
Well, they had an article just like I think it was like Thursday or something that actually was like, okay, we admit it was a flop. It took them this long to be like, yeah, okay, it wasn't our finest hour. So
sorry.
What is up with Guardians of the Galaxy then?
Okay, well, this is made by Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix.
Ooh,
so Square Enix are the people that you're used to, that they made the Final Fantasy games, and Crystal Dynamics are mainly the people who are behind Tomb Raider.
Oh, okay.
So, first things first, this is a single-player only game.
Wait.
No multiplayer.
You shut the front door. It's a single-player game in this brave new world of multiplayer online battle royales. It's a single-player game?
Yes, and single-player only. There is nothing multiplayer about it. There are no plans of a multiplayer mode coming out or anything like that. This is a third-person action game, but I will say a narrative-driven story with light RPG elements.
Man, I'm still struggling with one player, man.
Yeah.
In today's news, the gaming industry gave us a one-player game. You don't need friends. Best day ever. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Talk to me more about this. Tell me more.
So it is a third-person shooter. Now, the mechanics of the game are interesting, and where the RPG elements come in is when you're fighting hordes of enemies, you get these momentum points, and you build those up, and you can unlock different abilities, not necessarily stats for your teammates, or like it's different moves that they can get. Now, since you are just playing Star-Lord, you're going to be using your guns, and you're going to be using you can jump around on your jet boots and everything and fly around the battlefield.
Okay.
You're going to actually have a command to command the Guardians to, like, hey, Rocket, throw a grenade, and the grenade does this kind of damage. Or Groot, do this vine tangle that holds enemies in place. Or Drax just picks up things and throws them.
Do the thing. Thing.
Yeah, do the thing. But basically, as you get like these points, these momentum points, you can use them to unlock different moves for them. So like this grenade that Rocket throws holds people together. So it's not necessarily RPG where you're bringing your stats up.
Okay.
That's part of the RPG element. The other part of it is that as you're going around the areas, you're finding components and parts that you can use to upgrade Peter Quill. And you use that to give him like a little bit more health boost, but it's not like a lot. It's not like, hey, I'm putting a point in this tier and this tier. No, it's like, hey, I'm going to be able to do a charge shot, or now I'm able to fly a little bit longer, and that's it. That's like, it's very simplistic, not very deep in the RPG elements, but I like that because you're not concerned too much about that. You're focused more on the wonderful, wonderful story that this game is giving.
So I'm hoping at some point the side quest is Rocket telling Star-Lord, I need that leg. Go get me that leg. And I promise you'll be able to fly higher with this new leg. Or I need that eye.
I haven't gotten... I've played the game for a good hot minute, but I haven't seen something like that. But I will tell you, now it does not have the original voice cast of... It doesn't have the original cast of the movie. They have some other people who have come on to do it. But they have done a fantastic job in emulating these characters. And the script, the banter between them. You're in the middle of a fight, and they're just screaming back and forth at each other, going like, this is your fault. What? You should have listened to his plan. Why did we listen to your plan in the first place? Stuff like that.
Awesome. That's great. I am Groot. Hey! I am Groot.
And then I am Groot. And it's like, would you shut up? We know already. So you've got, and that's the thing. You have the story where you're going through, and I won't ruin it because it's actually a very overbranching story, but it does have a little bit of choice element to it. You go through and you're going to side with different Guardians. Like there'll be a time where an option comes up and you can pick, you're going to, do I side with Drax or do I side with Rocket? And depending on how you side, they'll remember that, and it might lead to a different story branch later on in the game where maybe you don't get, maybe you get a different area, or if you do something, you have an easier way of getting through an area. Sometimes it's like, hey, let's sneak around. Or if you, like, say, made Rocket mad, he won't sneak around. He'll just go run into a fight, and then you'll have like a 20-minute fight on your hands because you made him mad.
That's great. I like that.
And I mean, once again, when I'm talking funny, like laugh out loud funny. And then it's its own original story too. This is not based on any. If you've only seen the Guardians of the Galaxy from the movie, you might be just a tiny bit lost because it's an original story, but it seems to pull a lot from the comics. So you see some characters who you haven't seen in the movies yet, or if you've seen them, they're completely different from their movie counterparts. Like Mantis shows up, and she is completely different.
Okay.
She's not that nice little timid person. No, she's crazy.
All right. I'm digging this. I'm digging this so far.
The other thing about the game that's the gameplay is a little okay. So I will say that the fighting sometimes does get a little bit tedious.
Okay.
But they do throw enough into the battles where they keep it a little bit different. Like, and if you get a couple upgrades to your weapon, like, hey, your weapon does freeze damage or electric damage or wind damage, or where you can pull somebody in. And so it gives it a little bit of a variety. When it just starts to get too stale, something else pops up that you're able to do something new. And I like that's good, even though it does tend to get a little bit, in some areas, it's like horde after enemy. It's like, all right, I just want to kind of move on.
Yeah.
And then one other thing is I'm not sure if you can go back to areas. So like you're in nowhere at one point, inside the head of the celestial giant.
Yeah.
And you're moving around this entire area. And there were some things I'm like, all right, well, the main quest tells me to go over here. And it's not necessarily a side quest, but, oh, look, they've got gambling over here, or I can go and see the collector's museum over here. But I have this money that I need to pay to NovaCorp, because if I don't, they're going to put me in jail. So I was like, oh, I can go back and do this. I don't think I can go back. So you've got to be a little bit, you've got to figure out exactly what you want to do, how you want to do it. So, I mean, I guess that might come back to where, hey, I have to play the game a couple of times through, which I really don't mind because I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
So talk to me about like this, the soundtrack. Oh. All right, sorry.
Over 40, like 70s and 80s rock, like rock. It's mostly 80s. It's mostly 80s, but rock tunes in it. And at one point in the game, like when you're fighting, you build up this meter. It's called the huddle meter.
Okay.
And you all of a sudden, Peter goes, "Everybody huddle up." And he throws his Walkman in the air, holds it in the air, and everybody comes up and they're in a huddle. And he's like, we're getting beat and everything. And so you say an inspirational speech to the team. And if you pick the right one, you have to listen to what they're saying. If you pick the right speech, everybody gets their health back up and they get a boost, like a damage boost, and it starts playing like a rockin' song.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. That's all right. That just sold it for me. All right, I'm completely on board now. That is just awesome.
So, I mean, I can't. This game is fun. It's fresh. If you're a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy, especially the comic book Guardians of the Galaxy, you're really gonna love this. If you love the movies, you're gonna love this. Even if you've never even heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy, you're gonna enjoy this.
Nice. All right. So price and platform then, buddy.
So it's on basically everything except the Switch. It's on Xbox One, Series S. It's on the PS4, the PS5. It's on the dirty PC as well. And it is $59.99 on the current generation systems, $69.99 on the next generation. Now, there is a digital deluxe version of it. Now, there's no DLC as far as I know right now, but the digital deluxe version just comes with like an extra goodies. It comes like with a steelbook case, some extra costumes that you can, though they're exclusive to that, but most of the costumes you're going to unlock. You don't have to pay, and they're not behind a paywall. And the digital deluxe comes with an art book and the soundtrack for the game. So it's kind of worth it because the soundtrack's awesome.
Wow. All right. So it's not on Game Pass? What?
No, it is not on Game Pass.
Ooh, take that.
Yes, it has happened.
Yeah. Blue Swede. All right, that is awesome. All right, so Guardians of the Galaxy, it's out now, I'm assuming, because you just reviewed it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is out now. It came out actually at the beginning. It came out at the beginning of October, but I wasn't in town, so I wasn't able to play it until this week.
Oh, we're going through the backlog. Okay, well that makes more sense to me. Yes. Well, you know what? As always, I want to strongly urge folks to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Of course, follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio. The Instagram's The Week in Geek. Hey, Skungy, how can people listen to this show?
Well, if you missed any of tonight's show, or if you want to hear Dave knock 3 times on the ceiling, you can always find us on Spreaker or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and the iHeartMedia app.
There you go. Click subscribe. Coming up next, Scott Adkins, his new movie, One Shot. Skungy, this dude, he is like a kung fu, like everybody's kung fu fighting. Let me stop the music for a second because this is totally awesome. The interview's coming up next, but like he has done Ip Man 4. He's in the new John Wick movie coming up. He is like this just martial artist, just like extraordinaire, does his own stunts and all that stuff. He's worked with Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen, all these people, and we're talking to him next. So you want to stick around for that, and then we're going to wrap it up with Ben Barnes right here on The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
There is nothing like quality when working with a business. That's why Banks Media Connections make sure that your work is done with class, professionalism, and style. Social media and marketing, IT work, videos, decals, documents, business cards, resumes, flyers, and presentations. Banks Media Connections has all of your media and clerical needs in mind. Contact me, Malcolm Banks, at 251-287-4854, or reach out to us on Facebook and Google. Banks Media Connections. If you have a need, we can help with speed.
D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe at 8228 Oak Street wants to remind you that they are open for business. Tables are available for your next game night. Also, the Adventurers League is still running on Fridays at 7 p.m. and Magic the Gathering drafts are still on Saturdays at 1. So come over and check out their expanded inventory of miniatures and miniature paints, board games, RPGs, and TCGs. Find them on Facebook at D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe or stop by the shop at 8228 Oak Street, just 2 blocks off of Carrollton. Or go to their website at d4cafe.biz.
Hey, this is Booker T, WWE Hall of Famer, and you're listening to The Week in Geek on WRNO. Now, can you dig that, sucker?
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared. Let's go to the guest line. A man who is kind of like the king of the sequels. 3 or 4 is usually in the title. Scott Adkins joins us with new movie One Shot coming out November 5th. Scott, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, thanks, David. No sequel for this one, though. This is One Shot number 1.
No.
To make sure people go and watch it so that we can do 2, 3, and 4.
So this movie, One Shot, I really dig. It's like Alfred Hitchcock sort of. It's one shot in a movie, though, too. Talk about One Shot and also the plot where you guys are trying to make it out of I guess, a political prison, I guess is the best way to put it, and save the free world as we know it.
Yes, so as the title suggests, it's an action movie that all takes place in real time in one continuous shot. Obviously, we didn't do that for real because as an action film with pyrotechnics and gunfights and all the rest of it, it's impossible to make it decent. But it is. We did do the takes as long as we possibly could, so it has a very legit feel to it. And essentially, it follows these Navy SEALs that land on this prison sort of detainee place, a bit like Guantanamo Bay, but off the coast of Poland.
Okay.
There's a bunch of terrorists there. We have a CIA analyst with us, played by Ashley Greene. We're meant to get this guy that's wanted. We've got to pull him out of the facility because he may have information relating to an impending nuclear attack on Washington. Ryan Felipe plays the boss of that base. He's not buying into any of this. He thinks that they don't have the correct intel. And then before you know it, a bunch of terrorists descend on this base and all hell breaks loose and we're all fighting for our lives. It takes place all in one continuous shot.
You know, Scott, I got an advanced screener. I was able to watch it last night, and I'm kind of mad at you because after I watched that, I had to go watch Ip Man 4, but I'll get to that later. But the start of the movie really sort of reminded me almost kind of like theater almost with the continuous one shot because it seemed as if, you know, like a stage play. Everybody's kind of, you know, just doing it and just one continuous thing, and I thought that was really cool because it keeps the story moving, and then once the action comes, it really doesn't slow down after that. But I mean that was the feeling I got from it.
Well, that's the feeling we all got from it as well. The actors, you know, it definitely felt like we were doing a piece of theatre because we were reading off so much dialogue in one continuous take, you know. So everyone had to be on their A game. But the director and I, we always felt like the concept of this unbroken sort of take, it really pulls the audience in, you know, it sort of pulls you in towards the screen because there's no edit, so you feel like, well, I don't want to look away. And you also, it somehow feels more real, like you're there and you're part of it and everything is happening for real in front of you. And then technically to do all the action in one take as well. It was very difficult physically, as I'm sure you can imagine.
I can't because I'm sort of chubby and lazy, but Scott Adkins is our guest, actor, stuntman extraordinaire. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the other stuff. Like after I watched One Shot last night, I ended up going watching Ip Man 4 with you and Donnie Yen, and that movie, like with the stunts and the fighting choreography, you started your training back when you were a kid, right? Like 13, you got mugged, and then you decided you were never going to let that crap happen again, and here you are with, I don't know, how many belts you got?
Oh, God, I've got too many belts to mention. Too many belts. But yeah, I was trying to kick the crap out of Donnie Yen, bully Donnie Yen, but it didn't work out for me.
You know, and that movie, I really loved how, you know, where in Ip Man, where you're playing this Marine drill sergeant, and the fight scenes, of the choreography and everything, and with the sets, though, too, it was such a big, larger-than-life thing. Donnie Yen and you, the fight scene was freaking fantastic. How long does it take you to sort of choreograph that, or actually how many takes does that? I mean, I can't even imagine how hard that's got to be, man.
Well, it's a little bit different in Hong Kong filmmaking. You turn up and the choreography is done there and then, and you normally have the fight coordinator was Yuen Wu Ping, who pretty much discovered Donnie Yen back in the day, and he did the Matrix films and Tiger, Hidden Dragon, all that stuff.
Yep.
So he's one of the best in the business, and he has his team of stunt guys, and you normally have a stunt guy for yourself and a stunt guy for Donnie just to arrange the fighting, and then Donnie will come in and put his spin on it, and you watch the stunt guys do it first, and then me and Donnie would do it. But it would be arranged on the set, and he would take it step by step. And it took about 7 days for that fight scene to be shot.
Oh, my Lord. That's insane, man. Scott Adkins is our guest, stuntman, actor, new movie One Shot coming out November 5th. And look, with Donnie Yen, you're sort of kind of hooking back up with him again. You got John Wick 4 on the horizon with Keanu and Donnie Yen again. I guess, really, you know, like, how do you prepare for all of these roles? Because it seems like there's a lot going on, you know, with your schedule also, but with these movies, I mean, it's I don't know. I guess tell me a little bit about your work schedule, man.
Well, yeah, I'm always ready for the fighting because I've been doing martial arts since I was 10. But in terms of the character, you know, you're often in a hotel room and you try and give yourself enough time to break down the script and figure out who this guy is, and conversations with the director about what he sees, and then you figure out how you're going to play it. And, you know, whether it's an accent or, you know, coming up with a costume and building a character from the ground up, you just got to get completely invested and live in that space and inhabit that character until you're done with the job, and then you're on to the next.
Scott Adkins is our guest. One Shot out November 5th. Now, one of your inspirations is Bruce Lee, but also Jean-Claude Van Damme. And you did Hard Target too, but I'm here in New Orleans, and I literally saw Jean-Claude Van Damme walking down our streets when he was filming Hard Target 1 here in New Orleans.
Oh, joking.
Dude.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, my God, it was so freaking awesome. We're like, wait, what? And I guess, you know, like, talk to me about Jean-Claude Van Damme, because, you know, you've gotten a chance to work with him in Universal Soldier, you know, Day of Reckoning. What was it? How many times have you gotten a chance to work with Jean-Claude Van Damme and tell him how much he impacted your life?
I've worked with him. I've done like 4 films with him. And on the first one, I made a grave mistake.
Uh-oh.
I decided that I was going to bring my scrapbook with me, and I got all these cutouts of Van Damme articles. And I brought it with me because I wanted him to know what an impact he'd had on my life and how much of a fan I was. I was like a big kid. I was in my 20s.
Right.
And I presented him this scrapbook. And I think it freaked him out, to be honest. It was, whoa, it is weird. I should be working with these types. Is he a stalker? What's going on? So, yeah, it backfired a little bit. But I needed him to know.
No, I get that. That is awesome. So, I mean, really, you know, when you looked up to them and Bruce Lee, that's really kind of what started you on your track, right?
Yeah, look, I'm just like a film geek, really. I've grown up loving films in general, but specifically action movies and martial arts films. You know, Van Damme, Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Stallone, all the usual suspects. Big fan of all of them. And I feel blessed to be able to do what I do. I love it dearly. I'm a student of the game still now, still trying to learn as much as I can. And, you know, these guys, when I got to work on something like The Expendables and work with the majority of the action stars all in one movie, I mean, that was like
right.
Incredible. And to be invited by Stallone to be part of the crew was was an honor.
Man, look, Scott, I when I was prepping for this interview, just the laundry list of movies and action heroes that you've worked with was just astounding. I got a whole page written down. But one thing I stumbled across that I thought was really awesome. We're visiting with Scott Adkins, his new movie, One Shot out Friday, November 5th, there was a fan casting. People were trying to get you to be, you would audition for Bruce Wayne in Batman versus Superman, and you didn't get the part, but I'm thinking, looking in retrospect, probably it's pretty good because that movie was a giant turd, man.
It wasn't that bad. Justice League, maybe.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but, whatever. It's okay. It's all good. I'm doing my thing.
And you're doing it very well. So you even got to dip your toe into Marvel with Doctor Strange. Is there a difference between some of like some of the regular sort of action movies and I guess Doctor Strange specifically, since it was really sort of that Far East flavor in the movie?
Well, I was surprised because I kind of knew about Doctor Strange, but never read the comic book. And then they came to me saying, we wanted to play one of these parts. There's a lot of martial arts. I was like, what? Doctor Strange? That doesn't seem right. But then, I realized it was this sort of up in the Himalayas sort of influence, the monks and all that stuff. And then it made sense. But on a Marvel movie, of course, it's got all the trimmings, all the money, and it's a lot easier than a lot of the things I do because, on the set, if you're doing a fight, everything's padded. You fall down the stairs are padded, It was a nice, cushy job, nice trailer, nice food. Another Marvel movie, please.
Amen to that. That is Scott Adkins. His new movie, One Shot, comes out Friday, November 5th. Scott, thank you so much for your time today, man. I really do appreciate it. And, just keep up the good work. What are you working on next? What's next up for you, man? I'm currently in Malta filming Accident Man 2. And obviously there's some films coming out, like John Wick and whatnot. So, lots coming your way. Thanks a lot, David. Awesome, Scott. Thank you so much, man. Have a great day. Okay, you too. Cool. Thanks. Yes, sir. All right, coming up next, we have the one, the only, Ben Barnes. Some of y'all might remember him as Prince Caspian back in the Chronicles of Narnia days. Some of you will more likely than not recognize him as Billy Russo from Netflix's The Punisher. And then he's also in Netflix's new series Shadow and Bone as General Kerrigan. He plays a bad guy in that. He plays a bad guy in this. And he's got a new song coming up, which is actually really good. He dropped an EP. But this is him in a boy band called Hyrise. I am going to torture him with this next. Sing it, Ben. Coming around. Yeah, Ben Barnes coming up next right here on The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Hey y'all, D Squared here, and I'm joined by a special guest, the Go Forblin, to bring you a special announcement. That's right. Go4 Games, your friendly neighborhood game shop since 2010, is moving to 4953 West Napoleon Avenue in the Napoleon Plaza. Keep up to date with the move and Go4Blin's adventure on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Go4GamesNola and GoForGamesNola.com. What's that? Oh, he says he can't wait for you to see his new pick of location at 4953 West Napoleon Avenue.
Pro Se Productions is a leading independent publisher on the cutting edge of new pulp and genre fiction today. At Pro Se Productions, you'll find fiction featuring fast-paced action and adventure, larger-than-life protagonists, over-the-top characters, and tight yet extravagant plots. Pro Se specializes in prose books, anthologies, audiobooks, and more. Go to prose-press.com to find our monthly release schedule and more info about our great titles. Pro Se Productions is your first-rate publisher of new pulp fiction today.
This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter at Twig Radio. Do it now.
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared. Let's go to the guest line. Ben Barnes, actor. You'll remember him from Billy Russo with The Punisher, General Kerrigan from Shadow and Bone on Netflix. Actor, but also singer and songwriter. His debut EP is dropped, Songs for You, and actor, singer, songwriter, but also thirst trap. But listen to this.
It stopped my heart from 50 feet. It popped and sang and skipped a beat. And when I sleep, my soul you keep.
Oh, that boy good. Sexual chocolate. Ben Barnes. Ben, how are you doing today, man?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I love that you go by D Squared. A few of my friends used to call me B Squared, so I feel like we've got that in common.
That is awesome. Yeah, Ben Barnes. I'm David Ducourbier. It's long in French, and people murder it all the time. You know, I'm down here in New Orleans, but I go by D Squared on the radio. Ben, how are you doing today, buddy?
I love it. Yes, very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, man. Look, let's talk about your new EP, Songs for You. That was 11/11, and look, let's talk about it. You started writing some of this stuff during the lockdown, but you've been filming now. And honestly, I was just today years old when I found out that you were a singer. But man, dude, I'm loving the EP so far. But talk to me about your EP, man.
Yeah, so I think I've always kind of kept these little journals of lyrics and phrases. I've always loved words. Obviously, being an actor, scripts and words are always very important, and how you deliver these words and how you want to tell these stories. But it just became time, I think, through the course of the lockdown and everything. I knew I would regret being 85 years old and not having done this, not having put some of my own music out into the world. And so I just kind of reorganized my priorities to make sure that I could share something a bit more honest and authentically myself. And so that's what I did.
Well, look, I mean, and the videos that go along with all this stuff. I mean, like you've got amazing Hollywood directors helping you. You've got your co-star from Westworld joining you in this. Talk to me a little bit about the 11/11 single where you were in a Los Angeles theater, and just what went into all that.
Yeah, so I wanted to make a couple of videos for the EP because I wanted to sort of bridge between my career as an actor and the music. So I wanted storytelling videos, and obviously those where I had my contacts in terms of getting Lee Krieger, who directed some of Shadow and Bone, to direct the first video, and Evan Rachel Wood from Westworld to star in it with me because I'd seen her do such extraordinary things in that show, and I knew she would, just be game to come and make that video in a day and play all these different women. And it was very rewarding seeing all these images from my head that, I just come up with that concept of having this solo audience member listening to you, and then as you make your way through this dusty old theater that you would see the same face everywhere you turned and in everyone, and it seemed like the perfect kind of metaphor for the song, really, and then I was able to get Floriana Lima from my co-star from The Punisher for the other video. I felt very, very lucky that these people were rallying to come and help me tell these stories a second time.
We're visiting with Ben Barnes, actor, singer, songwriter, B Squared. Now, a little bit about, I guess, I love just what all went into that. But I mean, you've been kind of doing the music thing since since you were a kid, because I stumbled across this gem. Ben, I love this song. Hold up. There you go. Eurovision. This song, I'm vibing to this song too, buddy. Talk to me about Hyrise.
I was most certainly not vibing to that song, so maybe we didn't have as much in common. That was just, it was something I was recording some big band jazz at the time, and then the management company asked if I wanted to replace someone in this pop band, and after 2 weeks we recorded that song for the Eurovision, and the next day I called up and went, do you know what, guys, I can't do this. This is not where my heart lies. I can't, with the dancing and everything, I just couldn't, it just wasn't for me. But at the time, I think, JT, Justin Timberlake, and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, they were really sort of really booming, and so it seemed like maybe it would be a good way in, but it wasn't where my kind of passion lay. I think I wanted to do music to continue to tell stories and to have it feel like it hit with something, chimed with something real, and I think even though I was young, that felt like it was sort of performative for its own sake, which I think it was, which there's nothing kind of wrong with if people are bopping their heads to it, for sure. But it was just, I knew it wasn't quite the right move for me.
So bubblegum pop is not on your playlist, but what are your inspirations for your new EP? I don't know why I keep saying AP, Associated Press. Your debut EP, Songs for You. Who were your influences? Because you've got a lot of, like piano, but jazz, organs, all kinds of stuff going in there. What were your influences for this music?
I do. Well, I think it was, the answer is basically every person I've ever loved as a musician, from when I was very young, through the bands that my dad loved, from the Beatles and the Doobie Brothers and Queen. There's a lot of influence of those bands in there, but then also the kind of Motown stuff, the Stevie Wonder and the Donny Hathaway and the Ray Charles is the stuff that I love the most, the absolute most in life. So there's a sort of sprinkling of that and sort of the slightly more dramatic stuff, probably from my musical theatre days and everything. So it's a little bit sort of cinematic. Some of the stuff, some of the string arrangements and things. So I think it's like we are as people, we sort of collect these memories and we collect these influences and we become who we become. And this music, it's not trying particularly to sound like anyone or anything else. It's just influenced by all the things that I love.
Now, Ben, I only got about a minute left, but I'm thinking about, all these comic book movies. You played Billy Russo in The Punisher. I was looking for a musical superhero, and the only thing I could come across was Music Meister from DC Comics. It was a bad guy against Batman. Could we make some sort of new musical superhero or villain for you that we can?
I think that's a very, very, very strong idea. I know that some of those shows, some of those CW shows and things sometimes have musical specials, but I think an actual musical superhero would be. I mean, a musical villain against Batman would be kind of an amazing thing. I think that's a great fight.
Yeah, like a Black Canary shoots, like vocal, like all that. That's the sound effect.
I played a lot of bad guys. It's not outside of my wheelhouse.
Absolutely, Ben. Look, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. People, go out there and check out his debut EP, Songs for You. 1111 is my favorite. Thank you so much for your time today, Ben. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Later, B Squared.
See ya.
I wish for you to be happy.
There you go. That was Ben Barnes. His new EP out now. Songs for You. This is a good song, man. I don't care what y'all say.
And I won't wish to be yours or for you to be mine.
Sing it, man.
I wish them all for you every time.
All right, that was fun. All right, so coming up next week, I got George Wallace, the comedian. So George Wallace is going to stop by, but then a guy I've been trying to get for roughly 8 years since we started this show 8 years ago. I got the one, the only. Wait, what's that, Ben? Oh, sing it, Ben. Hold on, we got to take a break. Wait. Damn, this boy good. Next week, the one, the only Bruce Campbell. I got freaking Bruce Campbell next week. Bruce Campbell. I got Ben Barnes. Just talk to him. I talk to Bruce Campbell next week. Hell's bells. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's a good song. Shut up. Stop judging me with your judgy faces and ears out there. So that's coming up next week. George Wallace and the one, the only Bruce Campbell. Now let's get the heck out of here. Boom! As always, I want to strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website, or preferably not at twigradio.com, but definitely follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio. The Instagram's The Week in Geek. I'm on Twitter at ProducerD2 or DLeagueD2 on Instagram. And of course, download the podcast wherever podcasts are freely given away. Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify. I have a YouTube channel, but also the iHeartRadio app. Click subscribe. Never miss a podcast. So, there you go. Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.